California has voted, the results are in, and I'll be there in October next year, so I'm not going to be too critical. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm the Electric Viking. My name's Sam Evans. I'm coming to you from Melbourne in Australia. Welcome to all the new subscribers. Welcome back, everyone else. Great to see you. Thank you to our Patreon supporters. If you want to be a Patreon supporter, I'll put a link in the description below. And also to our YouTube members. Members do get to see one video per day, a couple of days in advance. So I'll put a link in the description to our membership page. So California has voted against electric car incentives, which would have been funded by higher taxes. Now, the thing is, isn't everything kind of funded in some way by higher taxes? A proposal to tax the rich to fund electric car incentives for low-income earners has been rejected by a majority of the Golden State's voters, which is kind of interesting. I would have thought this was the kind of thing that the majority of voters would have voted for. So I am a little bit surprised. Are you surprised? Are you from California? Let me know in the comment section below what your thoughts are on this. Did you vote? A majority of California residents voted against a controversial proposal which would have resulted in increased taxes for high income earners that would have gone towards electric car subsidies for low income motorists. The proposed law, known as Proposition 30, was intended to reduce greenhouse gas emissions in California by increasing the uptake of electric cars in the state. If it had been passed, Proposition 30 would have placed an additional 1.75% tax on the personal income of California residents who earn more than US $2 million annually, with the extra tax revenue to partially fund electric car tax incentives. Now, to be fair, it wasn't just going to fund electric car tax incentives, it was going to fund other things as well. At present, Californians who earn US $625,000, which is just under $1 million Australian dollars, or more per year, are taxed at a rate of 12.3%, which honestly is actually amazing. I find this hard to be true. 12.3%. Man, I want to move there. I mean, I don't make that much money, but who knows? Maybe one day I will, and then it would work out for me, right? So according to Proposition 30, advocacy group Natural Resources Defense Council, NRDC, the tax increase would have resulted in a US $3.5 billion to US $5 billion boost to California's annual revenue. That's quite a bit of money. Across the next 20 years, the group projected California would gain up to US $100 billion. That's about 151 billion Australian dollars for you Aussies in tax revenue, with the extra funds to be split three ways. The NRDC claimed 45% of the extra revenue would go towards financial incentives for low-income residents to buy an electric car, although the group did not specify what defined a low-income resident or how much financial support they would receive. I think that's probably part of the proposition's problem. They should have been more specific on what that meant. Then people would know what they're actually voting for. While 35% was to be used for the construction and operation of electric car charging stations, the remaining 20% was slated for wildfire response and prevention activities. Despite the campaign in support of Proposition 30 receiving US $45 million funding boost from ride-sharing company Lyft, which is quite a big investment from Lyft, which is committed to go fully electric in the US by 2030. By the way, Uber is going fully electric as well. A majority of California residents voted against the proposed law because obviously a majority of residents make more than 650,000 US dollars per year. No, they don't, do they? So I am surprised for that reason. Out of the 6 million plus Californians who voted on Proposition 30, approximately 3.6 million said no to the proposal. So in other words, 59.2% of people who voted said no. Although Proposition 30 was designed to benefit individuals if it had passed, California Gavin Newsom claimed the proposed law was devised by a single corporation to funnel state income taxes to benefit their company, calling out Lyft in a campaign video. So basically the governor said this would just benefit Lyft and no one else, so everyone voted against it. Is that what happened? I don't know. Let me know. Californians, what happened? While Proposition 30 was voted down, California will likely retain its reputation as a leader for air quality standard in the US. Well, based on the population size and the number of cars, clearly electric vehicle adoption in California is miles ahead of any other state. In September 2020, Governor Newsom signed an executive order decreeing all sales of new gasoline-powered passenger vehicles will be banned by 2035. Now, personally, I think that it's irrelevant. I don't think anyone in California will want to buy a gas-powered vehicle in 2035 anyway, but it's still a good move because other states will likely follow them. In August this year, the California Air Resources Board, CARB, announced its plan to transition away from petrol and diesel cars in California in 2035. And then, shortly after that, European Union followed them and signed that into law as well. The same rule, basically. The move towards electrified cars in California will occur incrementally, though, by 2026. 36% of all new passenger vehicle sales are required to be electric, hydrogen, or plug-in hybrid. I still don't understand why California is investing in hydrogen. I think it's a disaster. I know they have a fair few hydrogen stations, but eventually they'll all just be shut down, in my opinion. Followed by 68% in 2030 and 100% in 2035. Now, my question is, how many EVs do you think that the highest vehicle seller of cars in California right now, which is Toyota, they're number one. I believe Tesla will catch them, but they're number one right now. How many EVs do you think they'll make up out of that 68% in 2030? How many can they make? I mean, realistically, they make almost nothing right now. So I'm curious to know, if California is to actually impose that rule, what are Toyota going to sell? According to the US Alternative Fuels Data Center, more than 1.45 million electric cars were registered throughout the country at the end of last year. There are approximately 560,000 electric cars in California alone, accounting for nearly 39% of all EVs in the United States. Wow, that's crazy when you think about the fact that California only represents a bit more than 10% of the United States population. Although California has more than 13 million petrol and diesel powered passenger cars on the road, I don't think it'll take long for those to be replaced by EVs. I'm thinking probably 50% of those will be replaced by EVs by 2030. And it won't be all that long before people go, you know what? I don't want this junk anymore. Time to move on. Time to move on to something that's better. Now, just for some context here, in Australia, Aussies who make that much money, they're taxed 47%. So adding an additional 2% tax, in my opinion, to people who make basically $1 million Australian dollars, to me, it's not really going to make much difference to them, I don't think. So I am a little bit surprised by this. I'm curious to know why Governor Newsom didn't support this, why he was saying it's just going to benefit Lyft. And, this seems to me to be a bit of a political campaign by him, but I don't know. I'm not from the US. Of course, I do follow what you guys do a lot, but I'm not on the nuances here really up to scratch. So let me know in the comment section below what happened. Why did this not get voted in? Do you think it should have? And did you vote? Yes or no? And tell me why. You can even send me an email or, join the Facebook group. I'll put a link in the description below to our Facebook group, and you might as well join it. Lots of people already have. Thanks for watching, my friends, and I'll see you again on the next one. Bye-bye.